Okay, we can take a break if you need to. All right, so here we go. So I'm in Adobe Illustrator and I am recording my screen, and that is showing and it doesn't need to. And I'm going to create a new file. New. And from new, I'm going to take a look here that we have profiles. These profiles I will go into more detail about at a later date. But for now, I'm going to choose print because I want to make sure that I'm working in CMYK. If I'm actually getting this printed on a 4-color printer, I don't want letter size. There's some custom size, some standard sizes here, but no custom sizes saved. So I'm going to create a custom size. I'm going to go to units and change this to inches. Now that this is in the inches units of measure, I am going to do 24 by 36 for my poster. Okay? And it is going to be vertically aligned. You may need to know, depending on your poster, if you're printing something out to the edge of the paper, how much distance you need for a thing called bleed and a thing called slug. These are distances that occur outside a page, and I'll get into that in more detail soon. Not critical tonight, but you might want to add an area, usually approximately, and really this is approximate, 1/4 inch. This could differ depending on the service provider that you're getting your printing from. There's another setting down here for color mode and the resolution, meaning the number of pixels per inch. Again, I will talk about these mechanics more. I'm really wanting to just sort of get to make something, get the idea of what it's going to feel like to make something. All right, so now when I click OK, I will now have what is known in Illustrator as my artboard. This is the artboard. Everything that is in the white is what's actually going to print, and the red line represents the bleed. In other words, if I'm going to have a photograph that I need to go to the edge, it actually needs in the poster design to go outside of the picture so that when the posters are cut, it does not leave a thin white line by mistake. So the picture needs to go to the bleed. All right, and I'm going to do the next thing, which is going to be save as, and I will just save this to my desktop as quick poster. Next. I probably should have a sketch for my poster. I'm going to do a sketch for my poster right now, okay? So here's what I need to do. I'm actually going to pause the recording because I think it will be really boring to hear me and not see what I'm doing, so I'm going to go pause. And there's another thing in this version of Illustrator that's helpful to know about, and it's called the Artboard tool. And the Artboard tool is this, and what it lets you do is create another place to work on besides your main work, and you can delete this afterwards. So right here in this file, I'm going to click the selection tool. I now have the poster area, and I have this other area that I can do scratch work on. So I want to use some colors that don't look like they'll go together.
Are you recording again?
I sure am. Right there. There it is, recording. And you're in it too now. You're in the recording. All right, so now I'm going to make this purple. And I'm not going to have a stroke. So I'm going to click the stroke button, and I'm going to choose none. And then I'm going to click the front or foreground chip for the fill, and double click this, and I am going to wildly click a purple. Now, I'm going to tell you a lot of things when I'm doing this. One is that if you look at the color combination for this color of purple, it is a weird color, meaning 68 and 89. I probably should be wise and round this up to like 70 and 90, because having round numbers or closer to round numbers is going to give you a lot more accurate color. Also, I'll be talking about a book for referencing colors that you should keep on hand, because you're looking at a computer, you're not looking at a printed piece. And it does make a big difference to how a color could look, even if you're in CMYK color values. Seeing something printed is very different than seeing it on screen. So there's one color for my poster, purple, and I want another color here. So I'm pressing the Option key and the Shift key to make a copy of that. Another way I could do this exact same square would be Edit, Copy, Edit, paste, 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 paste. Okay, oop, what are you going over there for? I want you over here. Right here is my other color. My other color is going to be a green, a lightish green, yellowy lightish green, and here again I'm going to look and round these numbers, 20. Now this is a personal preference. I do this because my father told me to, and he was a designer, so he said it was a good idea. I like to keep that alive. All right, so there's my other color, which looks really kind of pukey, a little pukey there. So I'm like, don't love it. I think it needs a little more saturation. And then again, I'll look at these numbers, 22. So I'm going to bring that up to 24. I know that's a big difference. And 80. What the heck? What do I think now? I think it's better. Okay, I'm deliriously happy with that. So next, I'm going to copy this. Command C is the key command. It's edit, copy, edit, paste. Command C, Command V. So paste. And I'll put this one, stop that, over here. Click on this artboard. Why isn't that the one that's selected? All right, and I want to pick a yellow. This is sort of a side color to my other color. And there's the yellow. Very excited about that. This is going to be 10, and this is going to be 75. Round numbers. Yay. Now, to create two more colors that will help me have some variations in this design, I'm going to select both of these. This is a wacky trick in Illustrator. And here, it looks like a black, a gray, and then a white shape of some kind. And this is called the blend tool. This has a lot of different uses. And I'm showing you a technique for creating a mixture of colors based on existing colors. So I'm setting this to specified steps and 2. And then I'm going to click without the option key, now that I've set those settings, on the opposite corner. And I have this twirling situation, which I really didn't expect, but that's fine. So these are 2 more colors that are a mixture of these other 2 colors. And if I select this and choose Object Expand, it now turns them into a regular group. And then if I turn them into a ungroup, these things are each individual squares now. And the power of that is that I can save these colors in my palette, and I'm going to save them a special way that you should now always save your colors this way. And I'm going to go to swatches. And there are my swatches. Okay, so I'm going to sample these colors. I'm going to click, press the letter I for eyedropper, and then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to put that in the palette. Why you no put? Why? All right, here, I'll click on the swatch and I'll just drop it down here. Be that way. Where are you putting that? And now I'm going to spacebar eyedropper again. I have this one, and now it's up here in this box, and I'm going to put it down here. I don't like how this is acting for me right now. Fine. Okay. It's just that this is too narrow. Okay, I'm okay again. I know you were worried. All right, so I'm going to put this in here. Color box. Go, mommy. Why? Something odd. What did I just do there? You see what I did? This got to be the wrong color. I changed that. Yeah, I shouldn't be doing that. Okay. Space bar here. I'm going to touch V for move and click. Select this light green. Go to my dumper and put that in there. And now I need the yellow, so I'm going to select and click and drag and go in. It's been a long day. I apologize. All right, there we go. There are my 5 colors for my color palette. I really don't need this anymore, and I'm going to throw it away. Now, for each one of these, I'm going to double click, and I'm going to open up this palette here, or swatch panel, and I'm going to click this button called Global. What that does is it locks this color into its combined colors, and it's now a little database element. So if I click on the next one, and I double click, and I make this one global. So what this means is if I decide after I have these colors in a design to change any of these colors from their existing values, I will not have to find all of these colors somehow miraculously in my document. I can select them from here, change these colors, and everything will change. And here's what I mean, okay? So, and I will teach you how to do this again, but this is an important thing for my workflow, so I wanted to show it to you. So I'm going to click over here and zoom in on this document, and I did that with the zoom tool. That's the zoom tool. And now I'm going to press the space bar. That gives me this little hand, and again, I'm going to create some blocks of color very quickly. One, this is the first block, and I did that with the rectangle tool. And I'm going to start moving this over and pressing the Option key along with the Shift key. That is copying that block as I drag it. I'll give it this yellow. And I'll do that again, Option drag. Now, I'm going to assume that those distances are the same. 1, 2, 3. I want to do that 2 more times. So there is a key command, one of my favorites in Illustrator, and it is transform again. Object transform, transform again. The key command is Command D. I'm not going to choose it. I'm going to come over here and go Command D, Command D. Now I can select my items and put the colors in that I want to go in there, and now I have this in my document. All right, so now it's 2 days later, and they're like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, I told you the wrong color for the purple. Oh, really? You told me 7090. Yeah, I'm really sorry, that's not the right color. Oh, what's the right color? The color is 5090. Oh, okay. So then I can come over here, and every places that are 5090 in that document, because I told these to be global colors by clicking that checkbox, are now changed. So that color is changed, right? If that had appeared on type on different parts of the artwork throughout this entire artwork, it would be changed, because I told it right here what color to be. Global color. Okay? All right, so that's just a little thing to know about.
Would the mixing colors also change as well?
Well, if I had kept, okay, if I had kept, let's do this. I'm going to go backwards to, this is that color, okay? And if I do this, making a copy, and again, this, making a copy, and regenerate that blend, that's using this tool, the blend tool, and Option click, and come on baby, and 2, and click on this one. All right, if I'd kept this on that artboard that I threw away, where I threw it away, what I could do, because like maybe I know this client is like always doing stuff like this, or they told me they're going to change it, I could keep it over here for later. And then when they say, because now these are global colors, they want that color different, I can double click on this. Oh, funny, I'm funny. I need to select this with the sub select tool, click on it, okay? Now that's the only thing that's selected. Double click this and change that to some other color, okay? Now all of these changed because it's still in that group. It's not ungrouped. Remember when I'm going to expand ungroup? You'll want to watch these tutorials a couple of times. All right, so now there is a whole other color palette, but I'm not going to change it again. I'm just going to leave it like that. All right, so Move tool in Illustrator, the regular selection tool is this black one. This is called the selection tool. It selects individual items and groups of items. This tool is the sub-select tool. It allows you to select points within shapes or objects within groups. All right, so there is the beginning of my random design for my poster. And I'm going to take all of these and select them all and just drag this over to the edge. If I wanted these to really print to the edge, I need to make sure that these boxes actually come outside. So I'm using the sub-select tool and I'm clicking right on the edge of that shape. And I'm using the up arrow on my keyboard. And for each one of these, I need to move it however many pixels that was. It was like 10. So let's say it was 10. If I click on this edge and hold shift and do left arrow, it moves it 10 instead of 1 pixel. Shift and left arrow. So there's a lot of little production tips that can make your life easier, and I will try and keep you knowing what they are. So I'm going to use select and shift 1020. That looks, it's okay if it goes out a little, and 1020. And then again, I'm going to press the space bar on my keyboard to move over. That gives me this little hand or gripper tool. And clicking and clicking and dragging. All right. Now those are all bleeding out to their edges. I'm going to fit it in the window command 0. So I just fit it in the window, and now I'm going to experiment with some type. Now, I probably am not going to make this whole poster happen in the next 20 minutes because it's just a lot of work. However, we can work on it again next time. I'm going to go to 72. That's a personal thing I like to do, which is make the font bigger before I try to figure out what it's going to look like, because it'll start as 12. Right, so again, if I want to make a piece of type, text tool, and I'll click, and now I'll start typing something, day. I triple click, and I come over to the size panel. Again, I can use the up arrow and change one increment at a time, or if I hold the shift key down, I can make this bigger very fast. So I'm just holding down the arrow. Okay. All right, so Earth Day. Often what I do is I will type out all of the words in not exciting typeface out here somewhere on an artboard. Just get all the words out here. Get them all out. Then they're out there. Once they're out there, let's say this is not even what I am going to design with, then I'll drag them over to here. And then I'll start working on finessing them. The type tool is this T. The select tool is this arrow. It's easy to get confused when you're working with type in Illustrator, which one to use. When you're drawing shapes, it's a lot easier. You just stick with these two selection tools. But here I want to change this type so that the size is larger for Earth. So I need to select it first by clicking on it with the selection tool and then selecting it with the text tool as well, going into the character size field and shift and up arrow. I kind of liked it like that. Okay. Moving things. I'm a big fan of moving with the arrows on the keyboard. Remember, shift arrow moves things 10 pixels at a time, and that is a very accurate way of moving things when you know they're lined up instead of going like, is this lined up? Now there is a thing called smart guides in here. You see those lines? See that green line showing up here? And now you see that little snapping action? Those are smart guides or smart alignment tools, but you can also select more than one thing, and you can align right up here in the top of the panel. So here's a left align. What's up with this word day? It has a situation. Maybe I put a space before typing the word day? It doesn't seem so. So what this is bad type design. So when you are wondering, why should I pay money for type? Well, in this particular case, this element is designed with a space before it. I don't know what manufacturer this font is, but that's actually a factor of what's called kerning pairs. Kerning pairs are what are used by font designers when they try to figure out how every letter is going to look next to every other letter. I'll talk with you about that again another night. I want to talk about fontography. All right, Earth Day, exciting. So now I'll start looking at some different fonts. So I have a lot of fonts on my machine, and I will choose something now that I think is Earth Day-ish. This is Montserrat. It's actually a free version of a really popular font called Gotham. I love Gotham, but I didn't want to buy it, so I have a free one. So there it is. And then, you know, what other things do I need on here? I need a lot of other details in this. So I'm going to make a text box this time. The idea of making a text box, as opposed to just clicking and making text, is that I can make sure that whatever I write stays within a specific width. So this is headline content. This is more body content, and I don't want it to get too small, but I might not want it to be 130 points either. Personal thing that I like to do is to adjust the size of my type before I start typing. That is probably different than you might think of doing it, but it can be really annoying when you're typing too big or too small because you didn't pay attention. It's sort of like, you know, making a left turn without looking first, you know? So I like to look first. All right, so now, oh, I wrote it down here. I'm so excited. Here we go. All right, so this is going to be Earth Day, and it's 2017. I don't want to put that in there. I'm going to put here March 17th, 2017, and nothing's happening, which is so sad for me. March 27th, 2017. All right, it fits. Yay! And then what else do I need? I need 11 a.m. And I want that to go to what I said, 3 p.m. And then Aquatic Park, Berkeley. And I'm doing a hard return. I'll tell you about the difference between hard and soft returns very soon. Okay, and this is going to be at Aquatic Park, Berkeley. So I think that should be all caps. Aquatic Park. And I sort of feel like that should be on one line. So now we start getting into the first problem. So I'm going to select this text and come back up here where the size is and visually guess that that would fit in there as B-E-R-K-E-L-E. Doesn't fit. Okay, so it's hyphenating, and that's okay. Be that way, and I will make it smaller. Okay. What do I think? So let's talk about the difference between some important settings. Yes, you can see up here in this control bar a lot of your stuff is typed. However, you're doing great, you guys. You're staying awake so well. You can go to the character panel, otherwise known as type, character, here. Oh, it's over there. My bad. Type, character. Let's try that again. And I saw it go away, so then I realized I had it open because it was down here. And it's a much more compact way of working than trying to work at the top of the panel. So here I can see this is on auto leading. It's 130 by auto leading. And auto leading might not really be working for me. Auto leading should typically be 2 to 4 points greater than the size of the type. But let's say I want no space between the March date line and the time. Here I could type in the exact same value I have for the type size, and that's called set solid. And this is where I want to type it, 130. So now I could still see it. I could actually still force it up a little more. And I'll go down in numbers, and you can see that 11 a.m. is coming up. Okay, and where is that happening? It's happening over here in this panel. So I changed this value here from whatever it was, this was the wrong field, to this number. And if I want to move this one down, okay, I probably wouldn't do that with leading. I used a hard return. So it has a paragraph marker before it, even if you can't see it. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to tell it to have more space before it. That's what this is, space before a paragraph. And you can see that's moving down. This is much better than putting in extra returns. I'm sure some of you have had that experience when you're trying to make something, you're like, if I put a return in, it's too much. If I go, This is a really special thing in design called space after and space before paragraphs. Right there, those things, I didn't learn that until I'd been like doing design for 8, 10 years. And someone showed me that, and I was like, right? So it's better than making extra text boxes because things will stay together. Aquatic Park, Berkeley. But I didn't really say what this was. So I'm going to hit a return and go up a line, and it is the, what did I say, 15th annual? Annual issues occurring. And now, again, I probably need this to be smaller. So this is the way I do it. I do it all, try to do as much as I can in one box. If there's a hard return, I can always do space after for this one, space after for this one, and push the other thing down. So instead of using different leading, sometimes I use space before and after a return, okay? All right, now we need a few other things before we get going, and these are really, I'm just putting them in now because I want to cover other topics instead of just covering type. I'm going to do a couple things here. I need the Facebook icon. So I'm going to Facebook icon, images, Facebook, the Facebook. All right, now I had to choose. Oh no, which Facebook icon? It was painful. This one. Yeah, no, this one. No, no, this one. This one. Okay, so that looks fine. So I'm going to click on that. Very exciting. Control click. Right, pressing the Control key on my Mac, and then I'm going to do this thing called Save Image As, and I'm going to make sure that it has a name that I can remember. Square Facebook PNG. I have it saved. That is good. Okay, I'll do another one. Another thing, let's do a Twitter icon, and that looks fine. Control click, save image as, save image as, index, not a good name. Change the name to tweet. Great. Now, I'm going to go over back to my poster. I want to put those things in here. It's file, place. File, place. I'm placing these images. These images are placed. They are not pasted. Okay? So if and when the time comes you want to send this to the printer, either send it as a PDF or make sure that these items are in the folder. Don't panic. I will show you how to do that. But I'm just saying the word place. Saying it so you hear it. It's different than paste. Makes your document smaller than pasting. Pasting embeds your file in the document. It's really in there. It makes the actual file big. Placing is putting a proxy. It's linking it to a file that's like over here. It's saying, hey, I want you in there. And it's like putting it in there. So if I change this file, this should change too. That's like a publish and subscribe thing. So I'll put in my Facebook icon, and I will click and drag to make it that big. And I'm going to zoom in. Zoom by clicking with the zoom tool, and this is the zoom tool. And then I'm going to go Command R, and that opened up these two rulers. And I have a ruler at the top and a ruler at the left, and I am putting two horizontal guides. You can barely see them, right? Because I have my guide colors set so light, but you can see them, yes?
Yes.
All right, good. Now I'm going to place again. File, place. File, place, place, place. Okay. And tweet, place. And click and drag, and hopefully they'll be looking like the same height. S for scale. I'm going to click in the corner here and make this a little bit bigger. And that's great. I'm going to leave it like that. Now, for some reason, someone gets upset and they're like, they don't like the bird just flying by itself. It's frightening them. I could put a box around it. There is a box around it. However, the box right now has no fill and no stroke. I'm giving you a big overview here. Look, no fill, no stroke. No fill, no stroke. Stroke, double click. What color do I want that to be? Some blue color that I didn't sample. So I'm going to just take a wild guess here. And now I get to show you this. See, there's a shield with an exclamation point and then another thing that's like a cube. The cube means if I wanted it to be a web color, I would click that, but I don't. I want it to be a print safe color. This is saying, hey, this is out of print safe or gamut warning. So I click that and you can see the color changed ever so slightly. This is now a print safe color. Now let's say I don't like that. Too bright. I'm going to add 20% black to that, and that's the color it's going to be. Like it or not. Over here, we're going to make this 1 pixel line, 2 pixels, 3 pixels, 4 pixels, and Bob's your uncle. Okay? Command 0.
Why not just use the eyedropper?
Why not just use the eyedropper? I could use the eyedropper. You can use the eyedropper. It's totally a good option, but I was doing it by the numbers. So I'm going to group this because I don't want them to separate. So I'm going to do edit group. Edit group. Reading is fundamental. Because it's under object, I will not find it under edit. Group. Now that makes these two pieces that will move together if you select them with the black arrow key. If you select them with the white arrow key, click away and click on this. I can separate them. He's separate. He's out of the box. Command Z. Now he's back in. Click away. Black arrow. So that is a group. Selecting a group. This is selecting an object within a group. Remember I said when I was talking about when I made this little thing here, I said the white arrow key allows you to select points within groups or objects. I'm sorry, points within shapes or a single object within a group. And that's what's happening there because it's the white arrow. It's called the direct selection tool, and it selects inside of a group or in a point in space. All right, so I have a lot of this there. I need some other artwork here that I don't have. So I am going to talk about copyright infringement or not. Okay. This topic of what is really fair use. If you are not able to make all original artwork, there are times when you need clip art. I am not a huge fan of clip art, but sometimes you can't help it. If you don't have a budget to spend on clip art, you may need to be able to get some free stuff. This is in your syllabus. This is the Creative Commons. The Creative Commons is, in a sense, all of us who make things and are willing to share them. You can apply a license if you upload your work to Creative Commons to allow people to use something for free if it's for personal or educational use, or pay you a fee if it is not. So it helps artists share their work and also protect work that is not Creative Commons. If you go to Creative Commons search here, I can now see these are all these different searches that I can do for any given thing. So if I want here silhouette, I don't know if I'm spelling that right, of bikes, and I look on Google, everything I find should be copyright safe. Like, I'm allowed to use it. It is fair use for educational, research, or personal use. None of these do I really want to use, although this one is probably okay, and that one's probably okay enough, okay, for my purposes tonight. So I'm going to click on this and see if there's a larger one. Yes, there is. And because I searched it through the Creative Commons interface, I know it's safe to use this in my design work. Okay, so I'm going to control click on it, and again I'm going to do save image as, and I will check its name, making sure I'm not selecting the file format where it says .jpeg. I'm going to put biker on here and save it as a JPEG. Now, that's not the best file format to use in my poster. I should probably bring it into Photoshop and turn it into a better file format for CMYK printing, which would be a TIFF. Why a JPEG isn't good is because it is RGB. Can you even keep up with what I'm saying? I am talking non-stop. All right, so if I go to Photoshop, which is not open right now, I am going to open that file, and I'm going to change the color of it, and then I'm going to save it as a CMYK TIFF because I want it to print with ink, air quotes for ink. If you were going to do a large run with real ink, not digital ink, you would want to make sure that you were saving your file this way. So I'm going to go File, Open, and there she is. There's my biker. Some colors in RGB, again, this is a JPEG, so it's definitely RGB, actually will not print the way you think they're going to when they're CMYK. So the first thing we're going to do is going to go to Image Mode and change this to CMYK from RGB, and is now looking ever so slightly lighter. I don't know if you saw it change. I did, but I was staring at it. Now I'm going to change the color of it in Photoshop. I'm going to make an adjustment using image adjustments. I will use hue saturation because I need this to be purple and or yellow or light green. Yes, I know, it's exciting. One way I could do this is by sliding the hue slider. That could work, okay? That's one way. Another way I could do this is by clicking on this colorize button and then actually sliding this hue slider to match or change or shift the color from one area of the color wheel to another. This is the saturation slider, makes things more intense color-wise, and here's a lovely shade of purple, which may or may not be close to what I need it to be, but I'll talk about that in a second. I'll click OK, and I'll do File, Save As. And when I do Save As now, I want to make sure that this is going to still print true as CMYK, cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. And I'll go into that more in detail next week. I'm going to go to TIFF, tagged image file format is a CMYK safe file format for printing. I'm going to click Save. Biker TIFF is now getting saved. Very happy. And now I'm going to tab over back here and put it in. So that's going to be File, Place, and Biker TIFF. How are we doing? All right, so, well, if I put it here, it's going to be like really large, right? But I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to bring it out to the bleed line and shift arrow key. That's fine. And I'm going to bring it up a little. Now, there's times when you're looking at your artwork and you're like, I can't tell what this looks like. And at that moment of time, you can do something like this. I'm going to click OK. And I made a rectangle. It's over here. And I'm going to make it white. This is just a personal trick. Right? That's why you take a class, so someone will show you their personal tricks. And then I'm going to stick it here, and then I'm going to stretch it over. And you're like, well, that doesn't help that much, because now I have a white line there. But I can go I for eyedropper and actually select the color of the artboard. And now I can tell how this is cropping, which is way better. Okay? Then I might start getting excited and really start getting more into the design. Of course, I probably would have already sketched it. But if I didn't, and I was, being wild, I might want to just put the type over there, and then I'm like, where'd it go? I'm going to cut it, Command X, or Edit, Cut. This is one of my most favorite things that you should know. I'm going to now select this photo, and I'm going to do Edit, but not Paste. I'm going to do Paste in front. That's going to put it in front of the biker picture. Now it's in front. Okay, the color isn't right, but neither is the size. I'm going to press S for scale. And now I'm going to scale this all, holding the shift key together, arrow keys to move it over. And I was holding the shift key to keep the lines in proportion. And I'm going to do my best to kind of fit it in here, get it as big as I can. I might have to adjust the photo, but I'm going to press scale again, or S, clicking on this corner, so it's going to size from that corner. I'm going to drag it up. Now it's too big. Or not. It might not be too big if I make it white. Now, I might not really like the letters overlap in the bicyclist, but this is hopefully starting to give you a little bit of an idea of how to lay out a poster, okay? The poster needs a lot more elements still, and I lost my social media icons. So I'm going to click on this text and hold the shift key and select this picture. And I love this trick. Command X is cut. Command A is all, and then it's edit, and I'm going to do paste in back. So I'm pasting in back of the icon. So in this tutorial, there are some really important tricks. I suggest you watch it a few times. I can move this photo over, holding the shift key, and then I'm going to do a bad thing. I'm going to make this box larger. And I just distort it a little, but really, does it matter? Not so much, okay? I have that liberty because it's my design, and also because it's my design, okay? All right, so I can squish it a little. Maybe I want to squish it. Oh, no. Yeah, okay. All right. All right, so does this help you to get the feel? Are you okay? Are you terrified? So this is the beginning of building the poster. I am going to need to put a lot more type in here. For basic Photoshop tutorial, all right, I'm going to save this up. And I'm going to stop the recording now. Stop recording.